do is ask each person what they do or if they've launched their business. I don't know if you know that, Catherine.
I don't know that yet, but I'm going to do an introduction really quick. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. My name is Catherine Jackson. I'm the VP of Business Services at South CDC. So I have some amazing, amazing person today. I have taken the mystery out of business insurance with Miss Anna today, and she's going to go over all things business insurance, and she's amazing. So first, I'm going to go into a little bit about Far South. So if you can see my screen, this is our website, Far South CDC. We do a lot of stuff at Far South, but as far as the business department goes, we have webinars and workshops, which is the education webinar today. Also, we are an Illinois Procurement Technical Assistance Center. What that means is that anything that has to do with government contracting or getting certified with any government agency, we will help you out with capability statements, getting your MBE certification. Also, we have several partners like the Chicago Minority Supplier Diversity Council and Women's Business Development Center to get your certifications, just to get contracts, including corporate contracting as well. Also, we are a neighborhood development center with the City of Chicago, Business Affairs, Consumer Protection Department, City Hall, where you get your license at, pretty much. We help with all navigating that city process, including any city grants that would come out, which would be like the Small Business Improvement Funds or the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund and things of that sort of like city funding. And also, just getting your, like any type of licenses that you would need. We will help with that. Also, we are a special service area 45. That might change just because we just had a mayor and we had a new alderman that just came in. So we kind of serve the business district within the corridors of 97 in Halsted, all the way down to about 127th in Halsted, where it pretty much ends the line of Chicago. So we will help you out if you are looking to get a storefront or a retail location within that corridor. And that is kind of pretty much it for the business department. Also, we will also, our newsletter has a lot of opportunities sometimes for people that do have their certifications as well. So be on the lookout for the newsletter. You can go to our website, which is farsouthcdc.org, which is right here. And then also we do have a YouTube page as well, which has everything Far South, everything up to date. We also have a Far South marketplace with 10 women-owned business owners in a storefront location at our old address, because we just moved. But we moved like really down, a couple of doors down. But at our storefront location, which is located on 837 West 115th Street, you will find 10 women-owned business owners that are selling retail products. So definitely come check it out, because it's definitely amazing. And this is a video about it too on our YouTube. So I don't want to take up too much of the time, but if you have any questions or anything, I will put my information in the chat, and I am going to turn it over to our presentation today with Miss Maria Viti-Welch. And she has so much amazing business insurance information. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Anna, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Okay, great.
And thank you, everybody, for joining.
Yes, thank you. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. This is really odd. Can you see one screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. My name is Anna Maria Viti-Welch, and I am the president of the Viti Companies. We're a third-generation family-owned business, and we are celebrating 85 years. My grandfather started my company in 1938, and we are a full-service insurance agency. We represent many companies, so we can help shop your insurance, and we're licensed in most states. We can help an individual as well as a business with any type of insurance needs. And I started about 10 years ago, a startup division in my office We give a little bit extra care to the startups because I know that a lot of people have called other agencies and don't get a lot of help. And a lot of reason why is because I know that there are other agencies that, because you're paying such a low amount of premium, don't really want to deal with it, but we like anybody. And again, everybody should have the same, resources. So a couple things that I'm going to do are today, I'm going to introduce you to insurance basics. You're going to understand why everybody needs insurance, understand types of coverage, learn the process when you do call an agent all the way up to putting coverage in force, and then some tips and tricks during the presentation. I know a lot of people feel like this. They feel anxious about insurance. They don't understand it. They don't like it. A lot of people think it costs a lot of money, and a lot of times it doesn't. It depends on what your business is. Before I start, could each person, can we go around the room and let me know what your business is, and have you launched your business yet? We want to start with Jodine.
Good evening. Yes, my name is Jodine. My company is Masterpiece Enterprises, and I do meeting and event planning. I also do business support services, which basically consists of small business startup consultation, as well as graphic design, print, and virtual assistance work. And then I also assist my significant other with his business, which he is basically a concert promoter. So we do a variety of events throughout the Chicagoland area.
Neat. Thank you. Now you've launched your business, I'm assuming, right, Jodine?
Yes, in 2020. To that, I was doing it as a hybrid entrepreneur, but I launched it legally in 2020 because it was just a side hustle. And I went full force with the company, or full time, in November of last year.
Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, Dolores, how about you?
Hi, good evening. Yes, my business is Center for Housing Education and Financial Fitness, and we provide financial literacy, housing, and entrepreneurship education. I incorporated in 2017 and became a 501c3 in 2019.
Wonderful. Thank you. How about Jocelyn?
Hi, my name is Joycelyn. I'm sorry, I have a cold.
I'm sorry.
So
That's okay.
no, I have a cold, but my business name is Gemstar Holdings LLC, and I pretty much manage properties in low-income areas.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Okay, how long have you been doing that?
Oh, since 2016.
Okay, great. Okay, and then we have one more person, Arlither. Did I pronounce that right?
Did a great Arlither.
Arlither. Okay, great.
And I have a organization called No Lag Behind. It's a dual type organization, discipleship and a social service component. Social service community in whatever area they have in, with the providing resources and workshops and things of that nature. We just had our Health Mind workshop just last Saturday, and we're
Your connection is not great. Can you hear me clearly? Okay, I guess she's going to get off and get on again. So, okay. So thank you, everybody. Exciting that you all are entrepreneurs, and I'm sure you've worked very hard. Hopefully all of you have insurance, since it seems like you've been in business for at least a year. If you do not have it, can you please make sure that when we're done that you find insurance or even get a quote? because I will let you know and you will see why anybody can sue anyone. And these liability policies that I'm going to be talking about, they provide an attorney and they also pay for the fines and also the fees and any settlements that you have up to the limit. So I'd like to start off with the health of your business. So first of all, the health of yourself, the doctor. I mean, everybody probably has a great relationship, hopefully, with the doctor. They help us with our, our emotional, physical, and mental health. Hopefully your doctor is checking, or you're going to, periodic checkups, and they're giving you the right advice, because we know most of the time, if you don't get the right advice or the right medication, you can get more sick, or even, like I said, become disabled. And they also should be giving you options, not just, okay, here it is and here you go. So you want to look at an insurance agent the same way, because they are helping you with the health of your business. And as we all know, it not only costs money to start a business, but it's a lot of our time and effort. And you want to make sure you're with someone who really cares about you, understands what you're doing, and offers you the right coverage and the right options. And just so you know, you do not have to purchase all the options right then and there, because you don't want to be insurance poor, but you also want to know what you are going to decline at that time. And you always can add it later. And like I said, this insurance agent, if you're a startup or if you are growing, that agent should be checking in with you at least more than once a year. Because a lot of times these policies are based on sales and payroll. And it's really hard in the very beginning to let the agent know what your sales are. A lot of times we're always guesstimating. And the thing is if these policies are based on sales or payroll, at the end of the policy period, they're going to come back and audit you, meaning they're going to say, prove to me what your sales are. Prove to me what your payroll is. And if you overestimate, you're going to get money back. But if you underestimate, you're going to have to pay. And a lot of us don't budget for that. So we want you to be even and pay the right premium the whole year, okay? Or at least try to. I like to talk about this too, because a lot of people don't understand that there are two types of insurance agents. There's an independent insurance agent, which means they represent many insurance companies. So they have many options, meaning, let's say you call and you want, you have a very sophisticated business like a dynamite factory. An independent insurance agency probably can find you something. They work with A+ rated companies, which mean they will pay, and they are also financially stable, and they'll pay for a claim if you have one. The direct writer has got one insurance company. So a lot of times, if you call them and you are a startup, or if you're a riskier business, a lot of times they aren't able to write that. You've heard of Farmers, State Farm, Allstate, American Family. A lot of times they can't do it, but their insurance companies are rated A and A+, just like the independent insurance agent. If you don't remember these two names, ask the next time you talk to an agent, are you able to shop my insurance for me? Okay, so I'm going to start with the basics. Your insurance agent, when you talk to them, they should be asking you, where is your business located? Is it a co-working space or a shared kitchen? Do you have a lease, or are you working out of your home? And we'll start it with working out of your home. Hopefully, none of you are relying on your condo, renter, or homeowner's insurance for liability, especially because they're not going to cover it. You have to get a separate policy, even though you are working out of your home. Some of the companies might cover business personal property, like maybe a desk or a computer. But if you have inventory, a lot of times they're not going to do that. So you want to make sure you know what they're going to cover if you have a loss. If you have a lease, and you're going to hear me say this a couple times during this presentation, never sign a lease or a contract without showing your insurance agent the insurance requirements. I'm going to tell you why. I just had an architect call me the other day and he did not sign the contract. We looked it over together. And guess what? They wanted him to have $1 million of cyber liability. Now, why would an architect need that for a project? So I said, go back and ask them either to waive that requirement or let's give them $25,000 of cyber. That might cost you maybe $50 a year. Well, guess what? They waived it. If he didn't do that and he signed it, he'd be paying thousands of dollars for $1 million of cyber liability that he did not even need. So just be careful of that. And also, if you are leasing your space, there's usually insurance requirements. And I will let you know that I've come across a lot of leases that are asking for a large amount of coverage. And we've been able to go back to the landlord and say to them, hey, you know, we don't have a lot of risk here. Could we lower it? A lot of people don't understand that. Also, there's language in there that you're not going to know, but we need to know as an insurance agent. So if you have a lease and you have insurance and your agents never asked you, I would pull that out and send it to them and ask them to go through the insurance requirements to make sure you're complying. Okay. Co-working space or a shared kitchen. A lot of times they do not have contracts, but you want to make sure you know if something happens, like in your little space, what if something happens? Who's responsible for that? Do they have insurance requirements? I will let you know that a lot of people that are working at these type of businesses don't understand insurance themselves, so they might be nervous asking you. So if you're doing any type of work with anybody, and we're going to go over 1099 or anybody, a vendor, make sure they have insurance. Do you work with 1099s? If you do, they need to have their own insurance or you are going to have to insure them, especially workman's comp. A lot of people don't understand that with 1099s, that you are responsible for them. So I know a couple of you said that you're training. If you have consultants or you're hiring consultants for different projects, make sure they have professional liability and workman's comp. If not, they're going to be able to go after your insurance if they get sued. If you have a third-party vendor, like let's say, I know we've got an accountant, we have IT people, make sure they have their own insurance because if something happens, you don't want to use your insurance. You want to use their insurance. So like my accountant, I want to make sure they have crime because if they're going into my books online or if they have access to my my accounts, my banking accounts, I want to make sure that they have enough coverage. If something happens, they embezzle, steal money from me. And then contractors, same thing. If they are doing work for you, you want to make sure they have their own insurance. So the next thing, what type of insurance do I need? Well, a lot of people need general liability. And what that is it is to protect you from property damage or bodily injury. So people that are working in the, I'm going to say catering, manufacturing of products, if anybody is in the hospitality industry, hotel business, let's say that somebody trips and falls. Well, this general liability policy is going to cover the business if there is a lawsuit. Let's say they have a product and somebody says, "Oh, I got hurt off of it," or it harmed me in some way, or you swallowed it and they're blaming you. Remember, anybody can sue. So this general liability policy also includes product liability. And that's also if you are serving food of any type and someone says, "Oh, I got sick, I'm allergic," and they sue you. This company, because it's a liability policy, is going to provide you an attorney. And again, help you pay for fees and also settlements and any type of other services that they charge for. I usually give people $1 million for this. Do you have a deductible? A lot of times you're not unless you're in the construction business. meaning you're going to pay whatever the deductible is, and the company will pay the rest. This does exclude cyber liability and professional liability that we are going to get involved with, okay? With this professional liability, you can add business personal property. And then it becomes a package or a business owner policy. Now, you don't need to know if you need a package or a business owner policy, but I like to use these terms because you're going to be hearing about this for the rest of your business life. And so a general liability policy and a business personal property coverage equals one of these names. The business personal property coverage, do you have desks, do you have equipment, do you have inventory, do you have products? This is what will cover that. You need to, let the agent know your limit. Now, I will tell you, if you are selling your product or any retail, they are going to want to know the wholesale price. And that's what they will return back to you and pay for if it gets damaged by like water or if you have a fire. If you have equipment like desks, computers, chairs, anything like that, you're going to give the agent the replacement cost. I know someone that had their whole office donated all the equipment. Well, guess what? If something happens, the company's going to pay the same like, kind, and quality at today's price. So remember, that's going to be a lot more than if they try to figure out what the donated price was. You're going to always have a deductible. So a lot of times, these small businesses or startups, they usually insure or self-insure themselves because the deductible usually starts off at $500. And a lot of startups only have maybe $1,000 or $2,000. So it's not really worth covering that. And then, like I said, if you have desks, equipment, it's going to be replacement cost. Or if you're selling your product and have inventory, it's wholesale price that you're going to give them when you're adding it up. Another coverage is business interruption. So imagine you're a caterer or you're a restaurant or a manufacturer and have a large project you're working on, and all of a sudden the lights go out. Or let's say you have a fire and you can't provide. Well, this business interruption is going to help you. They're going to help you stay in business. The insurance company does not want you to go out of business, so that's why you have business interruption. This helps pay for like rent, electric, gas, any type of operational monthly that you have or even annual. You need to make sure that you have a conversation with your agent on what coverage limit, and there is a time deductible. Most companies start off with 72 hours, so it doesn't start until after 72 hours, which could hurt a manufacturer or a food company. But like for my office, we have 72 hours, so it doesn't really matter because we can work from home. You could also have 48 hours or start after 24 hours. The real primo that you want is really zero deductible, but it costs. So again, I'm just trying to give you information about that. Again, if you have an office, you're not going to want zero unless you can't work from home. This is also going to help you if you need to go somewhere else and rent another space while your space is being repaired or replaced. They will help you with the rent. Okay. These are optional endorsements. These are just a couple endorsements. There are a lot more that you can add onto your policy, but I feel that these are the most important to know now. The hired and non-owned auto liability coverage protects you if you are driving your own car, and let's say you're going to get some equipment or ingredients or even the mail, and you get in a serious accident and you hurt the other person in the other car. Well, not only is the attorney going to sue you and your personal liability or auto liability is going to cover you, but they're going to sue your business. If you don't have this hired and non-owned auto liability coverage on your policy, you're going to have to get your own attorney for $500 to $800 an hour. This coverage might cost anywhere from $150 to $200 a year. I know a lot of contracts ask for commercial auto, and a lot of businesses don't have commercial auto policy. And this is what they are asking for. This is also going to protect if you have a 1099 driving their car while they're working for you or a W-2 employee. The next one is employment practices liability. This is going to protect the employer from the employee if they sue them for sexual harassment, wrongful termination, discrimination. Again, another liability policy. The company's going to provide you an attorney and pay for the fees. This is going to be what your general liability limit is, $1 million usually or more. This you can get sometimes 50,000. This is also going to protect you, the employer, if your client sues you because your employee sued you, your employee supposedly sexually harassed them or discriminated against them. Okay. These are standalone policies. Professional liability. Now, I know that a lot of you told me that you're educating, you're advising, you're giving advice. You need professional liability. And what this is this is going to help you. And it's also called E&O or air and emissions coverage, by the way. This is going to protect you if you are sued because of your services. Let's say someone says, oh, you gave me advice, you didn't give me the right advice. They are going to sue you under this. That general liability policy excludes it. So if you can't afford general liability and only can afford this, this is what I would purchase. You can start off at like 250,000, 500,000, or $1 million. This workman's comp, it is a law to have workman's comp if you have a W-2 employee or if you have 1099s. Doesn't matter if they work for a day, if you pay them cash, if they're part-time or full-time. The premium is based on the payroll for the year, and you're obviously estimating for the upcoming year. And also it is based on what you are doing. So for instance, let's say you're a consultant. There is a consultant line of business that you would have. There's a rate per 100 for that. So a consultant, a person working in an office, a salesperson is much less than someone that's, let's say, painting. It's much less for them to pay for workman's comp. They will exclude the managing member or the owner of the business or even the director of that corporation. A lot of times, if you are acting like a 1099 and a larger company is going to hire you, they are probably going to have you get workman's comp, even though you're by yourself. And I just told you that you can be excluded, because if you don't have it and you get hurt while you're working for them, you can claim your work-related injuries, even if you're in a car and get hurt, on their workman's comp. So that's why they're going to do that. Just one other thing I'm going to tell you, the benefits for workman's comp that they pay is 2/3 of your salary if you're off more than 3 days. They pay 100% of medical payments if it's a work-related injury. So if you have 1 surgery, 100 surgeries, they will pay for all claims. No matter if you, like I said, if you don't have a deductible, you don't have a copay or anything, it's 100%. And if you're partially disabled, fully disabled, or if you die because of a work-related injury, the company will pay you a settlement. Okay, so imagine you having a 1099 or a W-2 and them getting hurt and you not having this. You would be paying what that workman's comp insurance company would be paying. And they're also going to fine you too, because again, it's a law to have it. Umbrella policy. A lot of people call me and say, I'd like an umbrella over everything. There really is no such thing as that. All this is extra liability policy. So for instance, that general liability policy we talked about in the beginning, let's say you need $2 million of liability. Well, you normally can't get more than $1 million on that general liability policy. So you would have to purchase this umbrella and it would start off at $1 million. So when that general liability policy was exhausted, and let's say you had a settlement for $1.5 million, well, the general liability policy is going to pay for the million, but who's going to pay for the extra 500,000? That's when this umbrella policy, if you have it, picks up after that. I have some people that have 10 million, but it's because of the assets they have and they have several locations. Okay. A lot of times the reason why a startup would have an umbrella policy is because their lease or contract is asking for it. Directors and officers coverage. Anybody have investors or thinking about having an investor? Well, I will let you know that you are acting like the board of directors for those private and equity firms or investors. And I'm sure the reason why they're investing is because you have a contract with them and you said, hey, I'm going to give you 5% in the next 2 or 3 years. Well, what happens if that doesn't happen and you breach the contract? Or let's say you make a bad loan and almost go out of business, or you do go out of business. Well, that private equity firm or who's ever investing in you can sue you individually. So if let's say you have a home or a car or investments or assets, they can go after all that individually. And this is the only policy that can protect you from that. So what I say is if you have an investor, talk to them about maybe either splitting this policy or they should really be buying it, because again, if they're going to sue you and you don't have anything, what are they going to get? Well, if they have this policy in place, it's going to trigger and pay for it up to the limit that you have. Now, I will tell you one thing, that if you are a non-for-profit or on a non-for-profit board, do not get on a board unless they have directors and officers coverage, because again, they can sue you. Like I was telling you before, let's say a donor gives you some money and then they think that you are not doing what you're doing with their money. They can sue you and they'll sue the board because you are running really the non-for-profit. You can get sued individually. Okay, for non-for-profits, this is not a lot of money. Any questions? I see that we have questions. Should we stop real quick, Catherine?
Yeah, that's fine. If you want, we can take questions. You can unmute yourself, or you can put it in chat too.
Yeah, there looks like there's 5 questions, maybe. You want me to look?
I think it was me going in the chat, but
Oh, okay. Yep, you're right. Yep,
but I
you're
mean,
right.
you know, it's an open-ended thing, so we can, if you want to ask questions, you can.
Yeah, if anybody has anything they want to ask yet. Okay. So we're going to go on and talk about cyber liability, which is a real big buzzword, and hopefully all of you have some, at least a small amount, because what I ask people that call me that are businesses, do you use your computer for your business? Now, most likely all of us are using it for our own finances for our business. And what if somebody goes and hacks you? So the questions I also ask are, do you have any online sales? Or do you just have a website that is just for information? Would your sales be interrupted? Because I insure a lot of people that have 100% online sales. And yes, if they were hacked and they were shut down for a while, they would lose their business. Does anybody store any clients' information on their computer, website, or application? Then you're going to need cyber liability. I also like to share this information that it is a law for a business to protect their clients' personal information, and we know no one can do that. So if you are sued because you were hacked, then you need cyber, and that can help you. I don't know about you, but I know I've received several letters that my information might have been breached. And in that letter, it also offered credit monitoring. Well, that's an expense that the business had to pay for. Each state has also laws to notify your clients and how to notify them. Okay, so that's also expense. They say that it is about $250 a client to inform them about the breach. So how do we get coverage? Well, first of all, the cyber policy usually has expense. And so that's any expense that it costs you up to the limit that you have to inform your clients that they were breached. Did you need an IT person to help you? We talked about it being a law to protect your client's personal information. They can sue you. Well, there is defense costs that can help you. Ransomware, you open up your computer, hey, give me $10,000 or I'm not going to give you back your information. This can also help you with ransomware. Pay for that $10,000 or whatever it is, and get an IT person to help you get your information back. Business interruption. Well, like we talked about business interruption, if you had a brick and mortar, well, this is business interruption if you have e-commerce. So it's like, what cyber limits are best for your business? Well, if you're a startup, I say start with 25,000 or maybe 50,000. Get some, get some options. Now, we just quoted somebody who had a small business. They made a small startup. They made cookie dough. It was $50 for $25,000 of coverage for them. Okay. It does not cost to get quotes, just so you know. Where should you get this? Well, that policy I talked to you about with the general liability, you can add cyber on there. A lot of times it's got limited coverage, but I will tell you that these insurance companies are beefing it up. And a lot of times it's more cost effective. If you are online 100%, or you are an IT person, or you're have an application that can help you go into your client's database or even their accounts, I would definitely look into a standalone because there is more coverage, but it's a little bit more expensive. Okay. So we are done with the coverage portion of this. I don't know if anybody has any questions, but I can go on and you can ask afterwards if you'd like. So the process. So you're going to call your agent. You're looking for insurance. The first is the discovery about your business. They should be asking you all types of questions. What are you doing? Where's your business, like we talked about? Do you have any 1099s? What are your sales? What do you think about doing later? And then what happens is the agent will fill out the application, but it depends. If you have a more sophisticated type business, you might get an application sent to you and have to answer some of the questions. A lot of these are a lot of work, so you might want to set up a time to call your agent and go over it with them. And also some people don't maybe know what, some of these questions are very odd. So I would not feel bad calling your agent and having them help you. When they get the application back, they're going to mark it to the companies. That takes about 7 to 10 days because you want to get the best coverage for the best premium. Then the insurance company is going to send back quotes, which the agent is going to review. And they need a couple, they don't all, and everybody's got to know too, the agent just doesn't have one customer. They've got many. So you want them to take their time reviewing the quotes to make sure that they receive the right information. Then they will give you a proposal, send it to you. You want to set up a discussion because a lot of times these proposals are not all the same. If you came to my agency and went to another agency, it would definitely be different, the proposal. So again, you want to get on the phone or Zoom or whatever and get an explanation. If you like that, then the agent's going to collect the money and then put coverage in force. It's very easy to do that. That's the easy part. And then if you need proof of insurance, either now or later, your agent is responsible to get you proof of insurance anytime you need it. And you should not pay for this proof of coverage because that is our job and that's what our service includes in the premium. Okay. This is proof of insurance that you're going to get no matter what agent you're with. This is a generic one. Here is the insurance agency, their contact information. This is the insured. Let's say you're asking for your 1099s insurance. Their name's going to be here. The coverages are going to be here. If they're not filled out, that means they don't have it. You want to make sure that these policy effective and expiration dates are now and not expired or in advance. Also down here is who's asking for the certificate. Like I said, you want to make sure that they have coverage and what are the limits. Okay. And did you know? So when to start looking for insurance? Well, like I said, if you are going to be launching your business, I say about 2 months, maybe 30 days, because again, you don't have, a lot of time, but you want to take time to make sure you feel comfortable with this. And you might not find a good agent. You might have to be calling around. Give yourself also 7 to 10 days. Contracts and leases. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. Never sign a contract or a lease without showing your insurance agent the insurance requirements. And comparing quotes and proposals. I will let you know if someone calls me and says to me, guess what? I have 2 people looking at my policies. I bow out because I will let you know that most of us share the same companies. And anybody who gets, any agent that gets their application in first to that insurance company blocks everyone out. So for instance, we both have Hartford. I get my application in first. That other agent tries to submit their application. Hartford will say, guess what? We have a prior submission. Sorry, we can't give you that. We can't give you the quote. And then when people say, oh, I'm waiting for more proposals and then I'm going to figure that out and compare them. I kind of laugh to myself because I will tell you the quotes and proposals you're getting are all over the board. So my suggestion is find an agent you like. And then if you think that these proposals or quotes are like off, or there's one company that's giving you $2,000 and the next one's $5,000, there's got to be a reason. And so you want to find an agent you trust and then ask them to help you with the proposals and quotes, looking over them. It's not weird to do that. Like I said, you want to make sure that you're getting the right coverage. The wrap up is hopefully today you learned why you need it. You got a little bit more understanding of types of coverages and the process of getting the right insurance. Like I said, how can I help? Hopefully you feel like this now. And again, would love to help you. And if you don't have questions now, or you feel like they're not something that you want to share with anybody, please zip me an email. I'd be happy, or set up a time.
Does anybody have any questions? That was amazing, Anna. You
Thank
always
you.
bring amazing information for the insurance.
Thank
Like,
you.
amazing. Does anybody have any questions at this time? You can unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat. Oh, thank you so much, Jodine.
Yeah, thank you for the nice comments.
Well, I mean, if anybody doesn't have any questions, what I'll do is after the presentation, it would get an email that will have the recording, and also Anna's information will be in there. You can reach out to her about any insurance questions you have.
Mhm.
She is amazing with everything. So definitely reach out to her for all your insurance questions for
Mhm.
sure.
Thank you.
Yes. And then any questions about FAR South CDC's business department, just email me, Catherine@farsouthcdc.org, or you can just go to our website, and our executive admin is Patricia Ballet. She can answer questions as well if you email her. We do a lot at FAR South, so just not business services. We have housing services, and we're also a part of major developments as well throughout Chicago. So I believe, we can wrap it up then.
Well, thank you everybody for your time. Thank you, Catherine, as always.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining this lovely evening. happy, I know Good Friday is tomorrow, so a lot of people are off, and happy Easter to everyone that, you know, celebrates. And I will definitely send out this email with the recording shortly. And everyone take care.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.